So good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone, to the audience who tuning into our podcast today on Youth Sustainability Podcast. So let us start first by introducing ourselves. So my name is Bora, and I'm a student at the University of Gadjah Mada.
So, hello guys, my name is Anjali and I'm also a fellow classmate of Bora. And I'll take a little introduction of what our course actually entails. So, we are currently studying in the ASEAN Master of Sustainability Management from University Gadjah Mada in collaboration with the ASEAN University Network as well as the University of Agder, Norway. And the next.
Okay. My name is Heng, and I'm from Myanmar, and I'm also the master student from ASEAN and sustainability management programs. So this program is like very innovative programs, and it's like we are the first batch in supported by the ASEAN University Network and the University of Agder studying in UGM. So nice to meet you all, and we will continue.
Yeah, last but not least, hello guys. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Rian from Indonesia, also the fellow of ASEAN Master in Sustainability Management. We are going to discuss something very exciting today. So yeah, just wait, but we are going to talk.
Yeah. So thank you all. So before we start our podcast, also I'll like to give everyone like a little brief like introductions of what is the purpose of our campaign. So the purpose of this sustainability campaign is first of all to encourage youth awareness and participation in sustainability development through funds and interesting facts surrounding SDGs and sustainability issue in general, as well as getting information out on how youth can involve in sustainability activity and initiative through listening through our sharings in our podcast on how can youth engage in sustainability development initiative. And additionally, this campaign will also be used as a platform to share our team member experience and visions of what we want to see from each of our ASEAN country by 2030 from a youth-based perspective. So this is a general purpose of what is our campaigns today. And maybe my team member can describe what is the objective of our podcast to the audience.
Right. So we are here to deliver our experience. So also to share our experience towards sustainability, because as you guys know that sustainability is quite a central issues currently in the world, not only in our respective country. And that's how we want to see, and we want to also sharing with you guys what youth can do, because youth with the power of productivity, with the power of creativity and innovation should do something and should participate in this kind of sustainable development goals. And by 2030, it's a lot of things to reach by our country, and that's how we want to share today through our podcast.
Not to forget, we are also the youth. We are under the youth from ASEAN. So we have similar issue with you guys, and we will share some situations within in our countries. And we found that we have some common issues, especially with youth in sustainability issues. And also with the current changes of the COVID-19, we see that sustainability is really important in innovating our future, in implementing better future.
I think it's also worth adding that we are all from different backgrounds of sustainability. So I hope that whoever is listening out there, for instance, I'm from a tropical rainforest background, Dwi is from a peatlands background, Bora is from social enterprise, and then Hain is from the environmental science and international studies. So if you listen to us and you have something that you want to learn more about, so please continue to follow us.
Yeah. So I'll start with a question to all of us. So what is like your current outlooks toward SDGs in your own country or in ASEAN as a whole?
Want to start?
Anyone can start.
All right. So for me, in Indonesia, sustainable development goals is for sure is one of the concern of a country, and also it's also implemented in the principle of economic development by our current presidents, Mr. Joko Widodo, and the progress itself. At least in the recent report, Indonesia now level up in the rank on the implementation of sustainable development goals. So it's a good indicator for our country. But again, there are a lot of more challenges that we need to overcome for sure. For Indonesia, it's a big country, and we really need to integrate that sustainable development goals in each area of our development, our infrastructure as the focus of our president as well. So I guess we are moving forward for that, for sustainable development goals, and again, we are trying to reach the best result of us as Indonesian to reach the goals of sustainability as well.
And then my vision for sustainability is I'm from Myanmar. Like we currently facing lots of issues with COVID-19, and the country is facing poverty issues, and there's also like there's a lot of peace and stability inside my countries. So sustainable development goals is really important for my countries, especially in the social sector. Also on the environmental perspective, Myanmar is rich in natural resources and environmental resources. So we as a youth, I'm eager to commit our future 2030 to be a sustainable future. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Hein. So I think Cambodia is not different from Indonesia and Myanmar in a sense. I think in terms of Cambodia progress toward SDG right now, I think so far we have been like from the data that I've received from the government, we focus on 6 or 9 core SDG that we are focusing on, especially on educations and reduce inequalities and poverty, and so far I think the progress has been going really well. However, I can still see that there's still more room for the government to try to work harder to try to achieve the SDG by 2030. And also the good thing is that the Cambodian government, they integrate or nationalize SDG into our own country, like our own country commitment. And so in the global scale, we call it sustainable SDG, and in Cambodia we call it CSDG, or Cambodia Sustainable Development. And we have not 17 goal, but we have 18 goal, which is the last one we focus on demining, because Cambodia, we have gone through like decades of civil war, and we've only got peace in 1990, and so that's why the mining process is also one of the sustainable development that we want to see. And I think that's it on my country. I think maybe you actually have something to share.
Sure. So I'm from Malaysia, and I think in Malaysia, SDG has been introduced quite early in the development stage, especially in our national development plan, and it somehow is now integrated such in a way that the government is trying to achieve both things at the same time, which is really good. The role of SDG in general is just to ensure that we achieve goals that are multidisciplinary. So I really admire Malaysia for doing that. But I also agree, like with all the other countries, there's so many things that we can improve on. And for instance, in Malaysia, right now we are still focusing on more on the economic development, so like no poverty, clean energy, innovation, and infrastructure and whatnot. And we are also planning to achieve no poverty by 2025. I think that's a big task, but also at the same time, if we gather our resources, we can do it. And in terms of the youth voices in particular, I think Malaysia is quite strong in that. They are very active in voicing out their concerns and voicing out how to solve things in our country, because as you know, there are things that we can work on, and I believe we do have the resources to achieve these goals. Yeah.
And I think as ASEAN as a whole, right? Because ASEAN, we also have our own like ASEAN Vision 2025 that we want to achieve in terms of sustainability for our regional regional community. So I think after hearing the progress from each country, it's like it gives me like a little bit of hope that somehow we might be able to achieve like higher levels of sustainability in our region as ASEAN. So yep.
Right. I guess moving forward, like it's kind of interesting, like how we see the current outlook of sustainable development goals in our country, in Malaysia, Myanmar, Cambodia even has 18, right? 18 goals. So it's added one goals with the initial sustainable development goals. So I also maybe the listener also, the viewers also curious about the sustainability management itself, guys, because as you know that in our introduction we are from the Fellow of Sustainability Management course, but do we have the experience? So like, do we have the experience in sustainability management, or it's completely a new world for you guys? So who's going to answer that first?
Maybe I try to answer it. I think before starting in or stepping foot into our program right now, before this I was working in an NGO on community development programs. So I can say that somehow it embedded like a sustainability actions or image toward me to try to do my best as a youth to try to improve the community, right, through any means necessary, from working closely with the community leader to try to improve the livelihoods of indigenous people in Ratanakiri, Dogiri province, and to working with a village chief on anti-trafficking issue. So I think that is something that teach me on sustainability development. But also at the same time, I stepped foot into social enterprise world, where it's like a completely new thing to me 2 years ago. But I also learned a lot that sustainability can also achieve through businesses or through entrepreneurs or business people, because in the end they are not just focused on profits. As an entrepreneur, you focus on finding problem, fell in love with problem, by trying to implement like a innovative solution to try to tackle this kind of problem. For example, I worked with an entrepreneur who worked with female audience and female customer who have problems in terms of how do they make their like a period sustainable, right? Because as you know that the product that use use every time that women have their periods, it is not really sustainable. It's not reusable or recyclable. So one entrepreneur that I worked with, she developed this reusable pad that help women to use it and to sanitize and also to keep themselves healthy, but at the same time they can reduce it so that it does not affect to the environment. So that's like one thing that contribute to a sustainable development. So I guess working with entrepreneur really shaped me a lot. So that's why when I saw this promotion of this program, I read through the descriptions of this master program, and so I fell in love with it. So that's why I apply to this. So hopefully I can get my experience from the work that I've done, and also combined with the lessons that we have learned so far from sustainable marketing, sustainable finance. It could help build us like this career that we could at least make an impact from it. So yeah, that is my sharing.
From Julie.
Yeah, sure. So, my background is quite straightforward. I was in the science field, environmental science in particular, and I kind of steered towards going to nonprofit simply because I wanted to do conservation. And in Malaysia, I think still until now, you can only work in a nonprofit if you want to pursue in conservation. So yeah, I went into this amazing NGO. We did reforestation programs. We did capacity building for villages in degraded areas. So uh, teaching them how to collect very endangered and native tree species and try to replant them. So we kind of have like this circular economy thing going on. And then we managed to land a project of doing peatland restoration. And part of a huge component of that project actually included a sustainable business component. So what's happening in peatlands, especially in ASEAN, the two biggest countries that has peatlands, Malaysia and Indonesia, what's happening is that people are not managing the peatlands well, and these are huge carbon sinks that you need to know how to manage it. But at the same time, people who are living in that area has to provide their own livelihood. So that's where I sort of got into like the corporate knowledge, but it's still background at that time. And then I think I've heard of this course from a friend that she just sent it to me from a text message, and she just said, why don't you try? And when I went into the course list, I was just enamored because it's almost everything that I wanted to learn, because it combines both the natural component, which is I'm already learning, and they have this very strong business component as well. So it's really nice to be able to learn and try to combine these things together, because often people think they're against each other, but when you learn about it and you understand the motives behind it, they're actually quite similar. So yeah, and also learning from all these very knowledgeable people. So yeah, how about you guys?
Um, I came from international relations background, so I'm also the one of the youngest in the class, and my experience is quite similar to both. In my university life, I'm quite actively experienced with volunteering and participating in many activities related to like youth involvement, and I created an organization along with my colleagues from universities called Teens and Twins. It's for the it's for the adolescents in Myanmar. So we implemented many different projects related to adolescent development, and also some NGOs we interested about environmental issues, especially about waste management. From that experience, I learned that it's really important not only in like uh, focusing on the environmental issues. We need to focus more on the management and leadership. So from that, I'm really uh, fulfilling my journey with those experience and aiming to get something about the sustainable issues in the future. But after I graduated, the COVID-19 happens and my dreams were crashed. Everything's hopeless, and getting the job is really hard. But for me, I'm really interested in sustainable issues. I'm want us like part-time as like public relations coordinators for like business and in business and government like that party to ensure the sustainable business in Myanmar. So I have some experience in it, and getting that along with the experience, when I saw that these programs from the Norwegian embassies in Myanmar, and this programs really fit me, so I should apply and without like with when I was at the time I was like with no hope because everything around me is crashing. The COVID is happening. Our country economics is not good. The only hope I got is this programs, sustainability management programs. And when I got like email from the universities, I was, oh my God, I'm so happy. I didn't expect it, and I got in the programs. And when I get in the programs, it's really interesting to learn from the business perspective. Like everything's become more realistic, not like our imaginations for the like when we do in our nonprofit, we only think about the impact. We as the business, we think in many aspects how to make sustainable in long term. The management perspective gives me a new kind of thinking, and that is my journey. And I'm hope to learn more from these programs. Thank you.
Interesting, guys. Interesting. For me myself, it's a bit weird because I still believe it's a good path for me because I was struggling to get a scholarship before. Like I was trying Chevening, I was trying a lot of Europe, and I didn't get it. And to be honest, this sustainability management course was not in my list. Never until 2020. I was thinking like, after working in NGO, I'm also growing in the NGO. I'm still working in the NGO currently, guys. And I witnessed that conservation is not only about forests, animals, and the plant. It's also talking about the human welfare. So I was thinking like, at the end of the day, it's economic development. It's the profit on how to fulfill their life. So in 2020, I built my own social enterprise that trying to get a business with a triple bottom line, people, profit, planet. Just because, just before I apply for this master program, I was thinking like, I just apply this master program, and then this is a good. That's what I said before. Like, I believe it's a good path for me. Like this is your way. So you tried 15 times to apply for another scholarship, but this is the scholarship that just happened in 2020, and this is yours. So I was like, it's a blast for me, and I love that. After, even though it's quite struggling in the beginning of this master, guys, to be honest, because we need to pass the pre-MBA and stuff like that. But it's all knowledge. It's all knowledge. It's all the new things from us as the young generations in ASEAN to bring that sustainability in business, and while we can promote that business and profit can align with the environmental preservation. So it's what's interesting on this course, I guess. And yeah, we hope that it's always interesting along the way, and we can still manage to have a good passions and good spirit in doing this master. Yeah.
Right. Also, I think I share the same struggle also, right, during the pre-MBA, because during that time I still was still working, so I have to works at late shift and then studies in the daytime. So yeah, that struggle is real, but at least we learn a lot of things also from pre-MBA. But anyway, to touch upon like the social enterprise, it's like how is like your experience so far in running your own social enterprise?
It's been a challenge. I mean, we don't have that kind of social enterprise in our agency. So I'm living in West Kalimantan, in Kalimantan Island, Indonesia. And in my regency, it's a completely new thing. So it's basically a social enterprise that we promote eco-training, but we integrate the value of coastal area preservation. So like Anjali said before, Rians can come and grow from peatland. That is true. And I'm also seeing that because my regency is the coastal area, but none of these organizations or the government focus on the coastal area degradation. So I was thinking like, build the social enterprise and try to focus on that, helping the coastal community. So it's challenging. It's we're still improving the way, and it's been a year. We are still learning and got so many inputs. So I guess it's not only a business. I guess it's also a learning platform for me. It's good for me that get the knowledge from the course, and then I can kind of implement that in my small organization. So like, it don't work in my organization. When it works, it's good. When it doesn't work, something wrong with me. So yeah, it's interesting journey for me.
Yeah, thank you, Brother Rian, for sharing your experience. Maybe let's talk about a volunteer. I think Heinz mentioned a little bit about your volunteer experience. Maybe can you expand a little bit on that?
Okay. I still volunteer like in my first years. I was really active. I went to 5 activities outside the school world, and I found I have many clubs and I joined different activities in school, and this take me to where I founded Teens and Dreams. And like Teens and Dreams is youth organizations. Before it creates it was supported by the Universitas Gadjah Mada. They gather youth leaders from different parts of Yangon's. Like we have these issues like when the teenagers do not have specific roles in Myanmar. Like most of the programs are focusing on the youth. So I'm like at the time I'm like first year, so I'm like 18 years old. So I'm still very young and I'm still teenager. So we decided that we should, as a teenager, fulfill our roles for the teenagers in volunteering. From that moment, I worked together with my colleague in implementing many different types of projects. Our first project is about catching the dreams as a teenager. So how our dreams in the futures and how we can do it by like volunteering. It's the very first project of my life, and from that moment, we have started engaging more and more people in different parts of Myanmar. But later, my volunteer experience is really like up and down. The UNICEF Myanmar later, the support of UNICEF stopped, and so as like youth, very teenagers, we lost, and we can continue our projects as an organization. But as we are eager for the volunteerism, so we find our way to be an independent organizations as a youth. So we collaborate with many different organizations in Myanmar and take part in different large activities in different parts of Myanmar. One of the memorable one is by narcotic education projects in Myanmar. It takes part in 4 different parts of cities of Myanmar. From that moment, so we became we became aware the financial aspect of the organizations and also the many aspects of the skills in the organizations. And that volunteer experience is like some kind of learning opportunities for me, and I have learned many leadership perspective, as I'm like one of the founders. There's so many followers, but they are the same age like me. Sometimes it's really challenging. Like they see me as like a youth, and also like our organizations is something like everyone is the followers and everyone's the leaders. It's like really a flat organization, no hierarchical. time. So sometimes it's really hard to manage the task in implementing the project. These are some experience that I learned from the volunteering. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Brother Hyde. Maybe Anjali, do you have anything to share?
Sure. So most of my volunteering kind of revolved around nature. So it's usually like a beach cleanup or river cleanups, or we would do more on like outdoors things. And while I don't have that much volunteering participation, I was involved in organizing volunteering programs. So it's also a learning process, even though you're not a participant, becoming a facilitator, it's a whole new level as well. And it's really amazing, I think, especially for the fact that in Malaysia, there's a lot of organizations out there that just calls for youth to volunteer, and the beauty of it is that you are free to pursue in your interest, whether it's nature, whether it's social causes, whether it's even for socio-economic causes. So yeah, I think and also the fact that just having people to volunteer and from different backgrounds is also amazing, because you can also expand the work that it's in that company and kind of pursue that purpose of that organization. So yeah, I think it's a really good thing for youths, especially if they're interested to know more about sustainability. Even if you're not an expert, you can always learn something out there in these organizations, and at the same time kind of hone your interest in what particular sustainability topic that you want to pursue, whether it's just for your interest or for your career. It's really an eye-opener. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. And Brother Rian?
Yeah. For me, it's always fun and happy because we chose to be part of that volunteerism, right? So we chose that volunteer activity, and then we got the journey on that process of activity as well. And I started my career by becoming volunteer before. So my first career is at International Animal Rescue Indonesia. So basically, it's an orangutan rehabilitation organizations. And I started to be their volunteer before moving to be the professional officer in their organizations. So yeah, was really happy because we did a lot of puppet show during our volunteerism. If you know that we have so imagine that we have a small stage, and then we have the orangutans, the dolls of the orangutans, and we have to act like an orangutan by using our hands. So it's hurt our arms, but that's just the value of volunteerism, I guess. So I don't think that we are tiring, like feeling tired on doing that, because we are happy. We are happy to do that. So as long as we choose that volunteer activity, and we know that we get the benefits, knowledge, and I guess the advantage also, we get a broader network as well, because we get a chance to meet new people with the new organizations, and also we get to witness how they run their organizations, project management. Oh, it's being serious now, like project management and stuff like that. So I was like, yeah, it's a new things. It's funny, it's happy, and yeah, as a youth, we just need to choose whether what kind of activity that we like in volunteerism, I guess. Yeah.
Awesome. I think for me, when I talks about volunteering, so I think there are like two emotion that came to mind. First one is sad, and the second one is happy. I think sad one is not related to me working in a volunteer projects at all. It's like sad because I came to realize the importance of volunteerism really late in my life, because I only started engaged in a volunteer activity when I was in year 4 at my uni. So it was like too late, because I think part of it is because from year 1 to year 3, I I believe that volunteerism is useless and waste of time, and it's not doing any benefit to me. But yeah, I was wrong, because when I start engaging in volunteer activity, I actually learns a lot. Like Brother Rian said, he learns a lot on in terms of like program management, and learns about the way that we can organize how we are going to implement our program to the community and so on. And we learn the importance of teamwork and leaderships along the way also. And I think a part of the good thing from volunteering is that it's like give you like this seed of like I would say like a sustainability seed. Yeah, you start to realize how impactful volunteer is to the community, right? Especially from every project that you do, as Angeli already mentioned also on a program related to a coastal area. Because during my time as a volunteer, I also work on a project called Marine Camps, where we work with coastal region youth to try to teach them the importance of clean oceans, and how they and their community can work together to try to stop throwing trash and waste into the ocean, and try to teach the fish farmer who depends on the ocean to stop using like harmful fishing practices, so that we can do like sustainable fishing and so on. So yeah, I learned a lot from the experience for volunteering so far. So I think like if we go back to our main title of this podcast, how can you engage in sustainability development activity? So volunteerism is one part of engaging in sustainable development. So yeah.
I think it's interesting that you pointed out that you felt kind of sad that you ventured into sustainability a bit later in life. And for some reason, I tend to hear that quite a lot from youth. They feel like there's FOMO because, I don't know SDG earlier, or everyone's talking about COP26, but I don't know what's going on, IPCC, what's all this. But to be honest, if I can share with people who are still in that position, don't feel left out, because I think everyone has something to contribute towards sustainability. And it's really never too late. Like, you can have no experience at all, and eventually you become someone that's contributing so much in sustainability, just simply because sustainability applies to almost every aspect of life. So I think that's the beauty of it. And if the youths out there are still feeling demotivated by all these things going on, I would advise all of them to just try and pursue, even just a volunteering one day, and meet all these different people, and yeah, try to find out what your interests lie. And don't be sad. That's all I'm going to say. And I think that's also a question, I guess, for the other three of my friends. What else do you think that some advices that you can give to the youths who are concerned with sustainability? Maybe Rian?
I always believe in youth should do something. Youth should empower themselves to participate in sustainability. Therefore, it's one of my reason why I also built a youth community here in my regency called Pongo Ranger Community. You can follow us in our Instagram, guys. So it's Pongo Ranger _official. So it sounds interesting, the name, right? The Pongo. Pongo is basically the scientific name of the orangutans. Ranger is just rangers, because if you guys remember, when I was child, there is it's not a cartoon, but it's our it's not a movie, but something in our television is a Power Ranger. Did you guys see that, the Power Ranger? if, right? So I and my friends was thinking like, oh, we should make something ear catching. as the name of our organization. Therefore, we built Pongo Rangers community. So yeah, and that's consisting of youth. So back to the questions, like I do that because I like. I do that because I know the reasons. I know the purpose of doing that, and that's also the reason why the youth coming to our organization and want to participate. So I would like to advise to my fellow youth to find out something that you like to do, and also I always start with something small, because talking about sustainability, you don't need to overcome the 17 sustainable development goals, guys. It's a country a level, it's a world level. We don't need to do that, but we can start with something really small, because every single step, every single thing that we do for sustainability, for environmental preservation is counted. So just don't feel left out, like what Anjali said previously. Just do what we like. Just start something small from ourselves, from our community probably, and try to create bigger impact by having a consensus, like a join to youth community and stuff like that. So I guess, yeah, it's the easiest way youth can also do in your country, in your region, to make a change in the community. Yeah.
I have some advice for the youth to similar to Rian's. Because as a youth, we think really big ideas, really far ahead, but we don't see which is near ours. We can do even at our home. We think if we're sustainable or not. If we start doing like something volunteer, like helping your parents or helping your grandpa or having the surrounding neighbors, can be a sustainable volunteering activities. Like if you want do a bigger, you can join organizations which is fit to your interests, or if you're, and you can get get to the letters up, and you can be like organizers, and you can have more experience. The one thing that you can learn from the volunteering and sustainability is really insightful knowledge and experience, which you cannot get from your universities or school, like emotional intelligence, teamwork, and also leadership skill, which is really helpful in the current world, especially doing the job in managing people or something. Thank you.
I think it's easy to get involved into volunteerism in the first place, because I think if you every day, if you just like scroll down on your like social media of like your local youth organization websites or Facebook or Instagram, you would see like an announcement for volunteers and involvements in helping them implement like social related program. So that's one thing that youth can involve into volunteerism. And yeah, another things that youth can also volunteer is like Hans already mentioned, you can just like start doing it right now on it's like on your own. You can just like start your own blog that you talks about sustainable lifestyle, sustainable facts and information, so that other people can aware about it. There's also part of your own volunteerism toward like social related. So yeah, and part of the benefits that you would get from volunteering is the soft skill side, and also the other technical side that you cannot learn from school, like I already mentioned too. So yeah, a lot of benefit from it. So there's no like it's not a trade-off to start volunteering. It's actually a win-win for everyone, especially youth. And also in ASEAN as a whole, youth is like representing the highest populations in the region. Like for example, in Cambodia, youth is like representing almost 70% of the total population. So sustainability is definitely start from youth. So not from the older people, but it's also from youth, because we are like the biggest force to make change, right? So yeah.
Julie, you wanna add?
Um, Not much, but I think all of you guys have said what I'm thinking as well. But I really liked Hein's point saying that we can start small just by helping someone else out. Um, I think being like pursuing this sustainability masters, what can be applied to just youth in general is to be aware of your surroundings, because most of the time we get overwhelmed by all these social media and news and whatnot. Like there's so many atrocities out there in the world. But if you take a look like all around us, there's so many things that we can do as an individual, which obviously like you can't expect to just like straight away save the world, right? You have to start somewhere, like even very small, just learning the things around you, learning how your businesses work, learning how your governments make up policies and do they implement them. Um, just learning about your own country or even ASEAN in general, and meeting like-minded people. I think meeting all of these three other guys is like super eye-opening, and my other course mates as well. So I think it's all about just that, like simply try to do something out there and do not get overwhelmed. So because I think we all know that feeling. So yeah. And just for everyone's benefit, I think we can all share like the organizations that we have mentioned in this podcast. And if there's anything else that the audience wants to know, just feel free to drop us a chat on in our page. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Any questions?
I do. I know it's not in our draft, guys, but just let it go, right? So yeah. So I'm curious because we've been talking about youth, about the volunteerism, and also our current status as the sustainability management student. I would like to know what is your first plans after finishing this sustainability management course. Like what would be your first projections like, after finishing this? Like me myself, like I will start. Like I'm thinking to, yeah, because I do have the platform of my social enterprise, and thinking that I can really implement that in my own our organization here, and try to really consider each every pieces of the course that we learn, like sustainable management, financial management. I know everyone loves financial management, and also the what else? The business ethics, which is something that probably didn't come to my mind before. Like, oh, business should have that ethical issues is something that we really need to concern in our business. So it's not only about our goals to help the community, but also looking to the team member, the employee, and stuff like that. So yeah, I really want to level up my social enterprise after finishing this MBA, and definitely that's going to be my first plan and projection after finishing MBA. So really keen to know about you guys' plan. Wanna start, Bora?
Okay. Thank you, brother. Actually, have a lot. Because I think my plan is when I finish the program, I might probably go back to my old organization, the social enterprise one, because there's actually still a lot for me to learn from working with entrepreneur. Because I think 2 years is not enough for me to learn like problem solving and entrepreneurial mindset from these like amazing innovator. So that's like one of the many things that I want to do. And I think at the same time I want to become a CSO consultant, to try to work with different corporates and companies in Cambodia to try to create their own like CSO initiative and improve like sustainability in their company. Because here's the thing is sustainability in socially responsible business practice in Cambodia is still quite low. And I think not many company here having their own CSR program or CSR initiative. So that's why this is a good opportunity for me to use what we have been learning to try to change like the whole like a business ecosystem here in Cambodia to try to move it toward sustainability. I think another thing is to also become like a program management consultant also for NGO sector in Cambodia also, because I think there's like a what do we call like how do we say, it's like mostly we perceive like a NGO as like an organization that only use grants or donor money to works on project, but not really make a lot of impact, because most of the money or the funding that they have only go through like salaries or operation, while only like a small percentage go to the actual implementation, right? This is like something that we heard about, and this is like quite true in Cambodia for the NGO sector, because I can see that there's like a lot of room for improvement for NGO sector in Cambodia to try to utilize the financial resource that they have to like a full potential, rather than just like focus on maximizing to their own personal benefit. So this is something that I keen to work on also after finish the program. So yeah, thank you.
Sounds like a lot of things. Very ambitious, and I hope to see Bora do all of that. For me, it's quite simple. I really think that finance in sustainability is a big gap, especially in ASEAN. So that's probably where I'm going to end up, hopefully. I'm really interested in impact investing, ESG, and also like sustainable resourcing of materials or certification. So I really think that in general, ASEAN really needs to back up on their legislations, and just having more ways to, like what Bora said, NGOs, they usually don't have that necessary funding to continue for the long term. And I also experienced that as well in Malaysia. So I am definitely doing something in financial sustainability. Yeah. How about Hein?
I want to continue my work in like Myanmar side. Since I mentioned that I'm work as like a part-time public relation coordinators in third-party organizations, which link between business and government. So after getting the like degrees about the business management, I'm a bit more lean more. I have more knowledge in those consultations work, and I want to fill the gap and between business and Myanmar, which I learned that the business in Myanmar need like many different aspects about the sustainable issue. They really don't know that business need to be sustainable. That for the long term, I want to bring those ideas into the and fill the gap between business and Myanmar. And also, my dream is to like travel around the world as a like consultant or something, and give some ideas about the sustainable issues and sustainable solutions to the business. And my interest is mainly about the energy sectors. And I think the undergraduates, I'm participated in many different classes related to their energy policies and something. So I might do some consultations work in energy field in the futures and related to the business sustainability. Thank you.
Yay, interesting. Everyone has a lot of plans, ideas, and I think I don't need to be worried when I in the future I'm searching for consultant, because I just call my friends here to be the organizational consultant here for my organization. Yeah, and that's very interesting story, guys. And I know it's going to be the last question, I guess.
Yeah.
For our podcast today, and I would strongly recommend you guys to follow our Instagram, because there will be a lot of information that we're going to share as well in about sustainability, about for sure, but SDGs and also about the goals, our current activities as well and some fun facts as well that we want to share in our social media. And your participation or social media will help us to also spread to the world our words. So the message is not only stop to you, but also to your family, your friends, and we want to make that impact bigger as well through the social media. Yeah. Anything else? Any message? Any what?
Sorry, I just want to add, I think at the same time, like, I guess why we kind of built this platform is to not make it like a one-way communication. So if whoever is listening out there, they have some questions about just literally anything about sustainability, we probably not might be the experts, but we will try our best to like give you guys information or maybe resources or even contacts. So even just sharing how you feel about sustainability in your country would really help the community in general in learning about these topics. So yeah, looking forward to everyone that is connecting with us.
Yeah, thank you. So before we end this, can everyone here share like your one words of wisdom or one sentence of wisdom to youth who want to start pursuing careers in sustainability or who want to do like an impact in general? So please share.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Don't be afraid to start. Don't be afraid to start. Like start again. I repeat this again because there's a lot of youth like, I don't want to start because it's too small. Just don't waste the time. Make the change and don't afraid to start your actions. Just do it, guys.
Okay. We gonna say something about studying, so I'm say something about passion. So put passions in everything you love or you do, like which you then do right for the sustainable, for the good and bad of the community. So passion is really important in every aspect of the sustainable development goals.
All right, I want to go first.
Maybe you can go first.
The wise people should go last. I would just re-emphasize again, do not be overwhelmed. Like when Rian said, don't be afraid to start. If you start and you feel overwhelmed along the way, it's totally fine because I think all of us know how that feels. Sometimes it does get a bit hard, but just continue on, find your passion, and also find like-minded people. I think that's super important.
Yeah. I'll just re-emphasize Brother Rian's sentence on it's like don't afraid to start, right? So don't afraid to start. If you found something that you love, that you want to do, that have an impact to society, just do it. Don't wait, and also make sure that whatever you do also give you your own purpose too in your life. So if you're not working something that give you purpose or make you happy, then it's not something that's gonna make impact. It's gonna make you overwhelmed and burn out. So even though it's help society, but at the same time it must also help you also. So yeah, that is my last word. So who want to close this podcast?
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much for visiting our YouTube and then also our social media. We hope that our sharing, our conversations today really give you an inspiration, we hope, and at least some ideas like what youth can do, and we hope that you can learn something for us. So from Sustainable Sea team, we're very happy to share this platform to you, this story tonight, and we hope to see you again in another occasion. So thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Stay